For this question, part A, we have similar triangles, and similar triangles means that we can set up a proportion. So we can do this a couple of different ways. I could say the long side of A to the long side of B is equal to the short side C over the short side of D. So that's the way I'm going to set up this one. So I'm going to set it up as I have fractions, and since all of the fractions involved are nice, neat decimals, 1/2 is just 0.5, 1/4 I recognize as 0.25. There's no rounding involved. I'm going to go ahead and convert these fractions to decimals when I set up my proportion. So it's 8.5 to 1.25. That's long side to long side is equal to, going back to the first larger triangle, 4.25 to D, which is unknown. So we have long side to long side equals shorter side to shorter side. And now when we cross multiply, we will be able to get our answer. So we get 8.5 times D is 8.5D. And then I'm going to use my calculator to multiply 1.25 times 4.25, which gives me 5.3125. There's no rounding there. I didn't cut off any decimal places. And then to get D by itself, I'm going to divide both sides by 8.5, which gives me D equals, in my calculator, 5.3125 divided by, that is an 8.5, which gives me 0.625. And then because we started out in fractions, I'm going to convert that to a fraction, which is 5/8. Now, be careful, if you are going to convert to decimals, you need to be careful not to do any rounding. So here there was no rounding. I didn't cut off any of the decimal places. So that means that not all fractions are nicely done by converting to decimal. For instance, if you have 1/3 or 1/6 or 1/7, things like that would not be good to turn to decimals. In that case, we would convert them to improper fractions instead of decimals. So D is 5/8, and so that is what is going to go in our answer blank. For letter B, we're still looking at the same set of triangles, but in this case we don't know A, but I'm still going to use the same ratio proportion equation. So I set it up like this. A we don't know, that's our long side of the large triangle over the long side of the shorter triangle, and we do know that B is 23.6 centimeters, and that's equal to C, our short side of our long triangle, 39.5 over 15.8. So we have long side of the big triangle over long side of the little triangle equals short side of the large triangle over short side of the little triangle. And now if we cross multiply, 15.8 times A equals, I'm going to use my calculator, 23.6 times 39.5, get 932.2. There's no rounding there. That was the terminating decimal. Then I'm going to divide both sides by 15.8. To give me A equals 59. There's no rounding needed. That was the exact answer. And so I can go to my answer blank or my table and put in 59, and that would be centimeters, but it's not letting me write that in, so I'm just going to leave it as 59. Okay, on letter C, we're going to do the same thing, but this time the unknown is B. So I'm going to go back to my triangle. My A is my long side of the large triangle. B is what we do not know, equals the long side, it's long side of the big triangle over long side of the little triangle equals C, which is the long side of the large triangle, given to us as 15, divided by D, which is 6, the short side of the small triangle. So basically, I'm using the formula for all of these problems. A over B. Oops, I didn't want that to do that. Try it again. A over B equals C over D. That's the formula we're using for all of these problems. I didn't have to memorize that formula. I just understand that the long side of the larger triangle divided by the long side of the shorter triangle is equal to the ratio of the short side of the large triangle, this one, divided by the shorter side of the small triangle. So now we're going to cross multiply. 15 times B is 15B. 20 times 6 is 120. Divide both sides by 15. Give us B equals, calculator tells me that's 8. And so our B is 8 feet. 20 to 8 is the same as 15 to 6. And then for the final question, we're still going to use formula 7 over 4 equals, we don't know C, over 3.2, which is B. Then we just cross multiply. 4 times C is 4C. 7 times 3.2, my calculator tells me, is 22.4. There's no rounding. That was the terminating decimal. Then to get C by itself, I divide both sides by 4 to give me C equals 22.4 divided by 4 is 5.6. And so 5.6 meters to part B. For the next question, it says that 1 terabyte external hard drive is on sale at a 29% discount. If the original price was $347, what is the sale price? So the sale price, whoops, not what I wanted to happen. The sale price is going to be equal to the original price minus the discount amount. And that's not a formula you have to memorize, that's just a logical formula. Sale price equals the original price minus the discount amount. I'm distinguishing amount from percentage. And then they tell us that the discount is a 25% off. So you're going to take 0.29 times the original, and that's going to give you your discount amount. 0.29 times 347 is $100.63. And then to get the sale price, I need to take the original price, which is $347, and subtract the discount amount. 347 minus $100.63 is going to give us our sale price of $246.37. Look at it to see if it makes sense. The original was $347. It was on sale and it went down to $246.37. It makes sense that that's a lower. For the next one, we're going to convert to a decimal number. To convert a fraction to a decimal, the first thing we need to do is to convert by dividing. We can divide the long way, as in we could do 1 divided by 2, introduce a decimal. 2 goes into 10 5 times. 5 times 2 is 10. And so because we introduced that decimal, 1/2 is the same thing as 0.5. But 1/2% is the same as 0.5%. Therefore, to convert that decimal to a percentage, we're going to move that decimal 2 places to the left and then include zeros for placeholders. So 1/2% is the same thing as 0.005. The tiny little number, 1/2%.